The following is a sponsored segment from the Higgins firm.
Welcome back to Tennessee Morning 745. You've probably heard the stories about the problems that can come from defective hip implants, and here to talk about a recent case that marks the first judgment against DePuy Orthopedics is our very own legal eagle, Jim Higgins. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Nick.
Wow, since 2010 we've been talking about this lawsuit. Yeah. How many 10,000 cases you were telling me that they have, and we have our first ruling?
Yes, this was a DePuy hip made by Johnson & Johnson. There was a recall in 2010. Yeah, there's 9,000, almost 10,000 cases. And what happens when that occurs is they get consolidated because you can't just have everybody running around the country doing different things. And so we get consolidated into mass groups, and then we start going through this joint discovery, and it will be, all right, when did you know that this hip was defective? There was just an extraordinary quick fail rate on these hips. So what we had is people getting to having a hip replacement, and then 2 or 3 years on it, or 4 on a hip that they thought would last 15 to 20 or more years, and that was really the way this hip was marketed. They were failing. They would find metal in their blood and iron in their bloods, and it was coming apart. So you go through this horrible surgery, and then all of a sudden you're having to redo it all again, and it's just been devastating to a lot of people. So we have tried this. The first case that has been tried, there's been a handful of them that are what we call bellwether cases, and they say, all right, let's see if Johnson & Johnson is right and it really wasn't defective and these are just weird coincidences, or if the people representing these victims are right, and let's pick a few representative cases. And the first one just went to trial in California, and actually one started yesterday in Illinois. The one in California was a prison guard, nice guy, had this failure, I mean quick, has just really had a lot of difficulty after having to have his old hip removed and a new one in.
And how much did he win?
$8.3 million.
Wow. And
you know, to me, when we see verdicts like that, they're really unusual, and that's why you hear about them. It is a jury saying, hey, they knew something was wrong with this, and there was evidence of that. Yet they continued to make this product. They continued to put this out there. So
instead of getting ahead of the problem, they kind of said no, they're in denial almost.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it is a giant financial impact to a company to recall. And so sometimes, unfortunately, when that's what a corporation's goal is to make a profit, it can be tempting to put that profit over safety. And I kind of think that's what that jury saw in this case, that instead of recalling, so this man didn't have to go through another hip and maybe could have used a different one, they just kept it out there.
And you've got a few of these cases on your desk.
Yeah, we have several of these cases. We don't have a bellwether case, but what will happen is, I can't remember off the top of my head how many they've picked, but we'll go through about 10, 15 trials across the country. And then once that happens, we'll all get to step back and say, okay, did we win all of them? Did we win just this one? And it kind of helps us talk to our clients to say, hey, this is a good representative value of this case probably, because this is what happened in these other cases. Do you want to resolve these cases? And either we'll work it out with this company or you won't. And if you don't, then it just keeps going back to the jury.
Well, if you have any questions about this, if this has affected you in some way or another, you can always contact Jim over at the Higgins firm, 615-353-0930, or you can contact him through email, jim@higginsfirm.com. Thank you. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Nick.
All right, we'll see you
Thanks.
next week.
All right.